Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia.
Aloha, everybody. This is Diva Mia, and today we have a super special guest. Her name is Diva Jessica, and she is a nurse practitioner. She's got over 20 years experience, and she's seen over 20,000 patients. I know you know near and dear to my heart is functional medicine and more natural medicine, and she specializes in it. And on top of that, she's also offering nationwide consulting now. So if you can't see her in person, she's going to talk a little bit about how you can visit her online as well. So without further ado, Diva Jessica, how are you doing today?
Thank you for having me on. This is so exciting.
I know. And so if you want to kind of just tell me a little bit about your background so everybody knows.
Well, my passion first started, if you want to know real quick, I'll tell you, my little sister was born. She was very, very sick. She lived like the first 7 years of her life in and out of the hospital, in and out of the hospital. Nobody knew it was wrong. And so when I was 7, I decided I wanted to be a doctor and save other people's siblings, because I love my little sister so much. She was 8 years younger than me. So she's like my little baby doll. And so I was on my way to school to be a medical doctor, a pediatrician. And I happened to sell health insurance because I had to work, while I was going to school to get in all my degrees. I had to work. And so I happened to meet a chiropractor, and he told me the body is created perfectly. It's a self-healing organism. If something is going on, you must find out what's malfunctioning. It's not really a deficiency in a pharmaceutical. And crazy enough, I worked in the pharmacy. I counted pills. And so it was like, that just made sense to me. So I immediately was like, oh gosh, I can help kids with ear infections and all this kind of stuff and not just give them drugs. And so I withdrew all of my applications for medical school. I had already taken my MCAT. I already got my master's degree in biology, and I decided to go to chiropractic school. So then I come out of chiropractic school and I have all this knowledge because in chiropractic school, they really teach you a lot of function, physiology. So you learn about function, not just musculoskeletal, but how the whole body functions. And so I had all this knowledge, but guess what? Nobody goes to a chiropractor for any ailment other than musculoskeletal. So it came down to the fact that my mom had cancer, and I'm trying to tell my mom, like, you can't eat these carbohydrates. Like, you cannot have Coke and Bluebell ice cream every day. Like, you just can't. And she's just straight up told me, well, my oncologist said I could, and you're just a chiropractor. You don't know. And I was like, okay, well, I got to do something about this because I have all this knowledge, and yet people are not going to come to me to find it. So I went back to school, got another bachelor's and master's in nursing, and that's what made me a family nurse practitioner. So I have a bachelor's and master's in biology, a doctorate in chiropractic, and a bachelor's and master's in nursing. A lot of school, way more than anyone should have to do. And so that's where I got the passion to improve people's qualities of life. And with that comes my route I chose was functional medicine, because that focuses more on restoring function versus traditional medicine, which tends to be symptom and disease management. Like your cholesterol problems are never going to go away. Your blood pressure is never going to go away. Like that's just symptom and disease management. And so that has just remained my driving force and purpose after I lost my mom, sadly, to cancer and the recommendations she was given on the medical side. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for pharmaceuticals. I believe that. It's just that I feel like you should look at the function first. So that's what really drove me and how I got started.
So for those of you out there that don't understand functional medicine, so functional medicine looks mainly at the root cause first. It's going to look at your lifestyle. It's going to look at your hormones. It's going to look at detoxing. It's going to look at your whole system and say, what's the root problem here that we fix, not just treating the symptoms. So that's where a lot of medicine is starting to go to. I think it's a nice blend, and a lot of times you'll use Eastern medicine and Western medicine combined, and you'll look at what works to fix the problem, not just cover up the symptom. It sometimes takes longer because of that, because you're actually fixing a problem, not just masking a symptom. You can mask a symptom with a drug in a day or two, but to fix the core problem, you may have to change your lifestyle. So moving forward, this is kind of what your specialty is. Now, I know that you've helped people that have been autistic. You've helped people that have autoimmune diseases. You've helped people that have had cancer. People sometimes still go the traditional route with chemo, but there's other things you can do on the side to support people. And if you want to, let's start with autism. Let's kind of start with each one and we'll go from there.
Well, with autism, it's also toxins in the body, whether they're environmental toxins. So whether these environmental toxins are from a vaccination into a newborn system that's not even developed, if it's the glycophosphates, if it's pesticides, I don't know. There's so many things, and there's children that are not vaccinated that are now coming up with these neuro issues. And so what we do with little ones when they come into the office is we just start back to the basics. And I say the basics, but it should be the basics for everybody, but it doesn't seem to be. It's the basics for me. So in my office, it's restoring that gut health, getting rid of inflammation, pulling the heavy metals out, addressing parasites. So it's just restoring function, cleaning the body back up. So really, it doesn't matter if it's autism, autoimmune, cancer, whatever it is. It's going to be the same thing. Heal up your gut, get your nutrition balanced, get everything balanced out, restore function, and then see, do we still have a problem? And we've had some amazing, amazing turnarounds, but it takes commitment from the patient. So I wouldn't want someone to think like, oh, just come to my office and it's just this miracle thing. Like, no, I mean, you as a patient yourself of my office, like, you know that I guide you, I give you the information, but it all lays on you. You've got to choose to avoid those food sensitivities. You have to choose to take the supplements and the nutrition. And so the more compliant a patient is and the more involved they are with their healthcare, the more results they get. It's better. And so the great thing is at this office, I spend a lot of time educating you and informing you so you're empowered to make an informed decision about your health. Hey, I think that this is going to be great. This is what your blood work says. This is what's been helpful. I need you to do this. And then we check again 3 months later and we're like, you did it. And look, it worked. And so it's really not just like this magic pill, functional medicine. It's like you're restoring your function. You can't just do whatever you want to do that got you in the position that you were before. And that's what I tell patients so many times, like, well, what you're doing now, it's not working. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in my office.
Exactly.
And so it's like you have to be willing to take accountability. And I think traditional medicine is, there's a pill for whatever, you can eat however you want, and I got a pill for you. And it's like, no, I don't have a pill for you, but you can't eat however you want. So it's like, yeah, that's what we do. So it doesn't matter autism, autoimmune, cancer, unexplained. I get a lot of patients in here too that'll be like, I've gone from doctor to doctor to doctor that tell me I'm fine, but I don't feel fine. They want to make me think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. What do you think? And then I look and I go, oh gosh, no, you're not crazy. These are medical ranges and these are functional medicine ranges. I need them to be here, not here. And so it's like, well, that explains why they thought you were okay, but let's put it here and see how you do. And then lo and behold, their 3-month checkup, because we usually check people every quarter, they're doing much better.
Yeah. So one of the things I notice is that as soon as you come in, as soon as somebody comes and sees you, you do extensive blood workups. A lot of doctors that you go to, they don't do blood work, or they only do blood work if you have an issue. So you do an extensive blood work that is usually covered by some insurance, sometimes not. And you also do a allergy test. An allergy test is a food sensitivity test to say, you shouldn't be eating this because it's going to cause inflammation in your body. And that's one thing I've never had a doctor do unless I had allergies. Isn't that sad?
That's great.
I know. And we don't realize food is medicine, and food does affect the way that we live, and it causes inflammation. It can mess with your gut biome. I know there's a lot of focus on the gut biome lately and rebuilding gut biome because of all the antibiotics that people have been on. As far as food sensitivity, can you talk to that as well as the gut biome a little bit?
Yeah, food sensitivities are huge. When you go to a traditional allergy office, they prick your arms, prick your back. That's an immunoglobulin E sensitivity. Most people know when they have an immunoglobulin E. That's the person who knows, like, I can't eat shellfish, I can't eat dairy, it's going to tear me up. But it's what we test is immunoglobulin G. That immunoglobulin G are those hidden things that are giving you that brain fog, that headache, that migraine, that digestive upset, the stiffness in your joints. Whatever it is, you can think of anything that would be inflammatory and is going to be associated with that gut. And so I'll have people tell me all the time, like, I've eaten that my whole life. What do you mean I can't have chicken? I'm like, I don't know. I've been doing it for 20 years. The test says you can't have chicken. Don't eat chicken. And they'll stop eating chicken. And then all of a sudden they might cheat and have some chicken 2-3 months later and then end up with a migraine. It's like, well, you inflamed your
There
it's
you
like,
go.
don't do that. Don't do that now. And so I kind of equate it to like if you're in a hot shower. I don't know if you've ever gone to a hot shower and you kind of crank the water up and get a little hotter, a little hotter, a little hotter. Before you know it, your skin's turning red, but you're still comfortable. Like it's hot. Well, that's inflammation. If you were to get out and try to step back into that temperature, I mean, your body would freak out. So it's the same thing. When you eat foods that may be healthy, we're not testing McDonald's. You already know it's not good for you. When you eat food that's healthy and you're just inflamed, that's like that hot shower. Well, when you take those things out and then you try to reintroduce them, you'll go, oh man, my body does not like that. Then you'll notice it. But the other thing is I don't want people to base their health on just what they feel. So even though you think you eat it and you feel fine, it's like you'd be surprised. And sometimes people don't even know how great they can feel, honestly. They don't know. They just assume the brain fog or the fatigue or the achy knees is because they're getting old or something. I'm 49 years old. I use that excuse all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm just getting old. But the reality is it's probably if I ate something that I wasn't supposed to. And I eat a pretty strict diet. Every once in a while, you just like, I don't care. I'm going to have it. It's like I'm a regular person just like my patients. And it's like I have those days and then I pay for it. And so it's super important the amount of like there's this relationship called the gut brain communication, the amount of nerves that innervate the digestive system directly communicate with the brain is just like mind blowing. So that gut health really is like your second brain. The brain is your computer. It tells everything that's going on, but what's going on in that gut can destroy everything. You're old enough to remember that old phrase, probably, if mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
You remember that? It's the same. If that gut's not happy, it will inflame everything else. Well, how well do you think your brain and your organs and all that stuff's going to function if it's inflamed? It won't.
Yeah. What is the number one thing that people complain about when they come in? Do you have or is it just kind of a wide range?
I would say that no matter what is going on with them, fatigue is a major problem for people. They're not resting well. They're chronically fatigued. It's a major problem. Low energy, just not being able to produce what they used to be able to.
So when people come in, they do blood work with you. A lot of times they'll do hormone tests as well, and they do a food sensitivity. How do you customize per patient based off of the results you get? What's your process?
Well, I look through each thing with them, explain it. So, for example, well, these are your white blood cells. This is where it's at. This is where I want to be. This is what you can do. So majority of people who come in, they all have the same makeup going on their labs, hot mess. And it's just a matter of where are they at on that hot mess level and what kind of symptoms are they getting? And the symptoms are all different amongst the patients, but it comes back to the same core thing, deficiencies, inflammation, etc. So I go through and I say, okay, this is here. It needs to be here. And I want you to do this, and we're going to check it in 3 months. And the great thing is, just 3 months later, so many times patients' labs have greatly improved, their health has greatly improved, and they start feeling better right away. So it's not, you probably damaged your body 20, 30, 40 years by the time you get to me, but it's not 20, 30, 40 years to help it heal because the body is a self-healing organism as long as you give it what you need.
Right. So one of the things that you do that I know that's unique, and I haven't seen it in a lot of places, is different types of IV therapy now I know there's a lot of drip bars out there that do stuff, but they don't do the full analysis and blood workup to make sure that they're giving you the right IVs, first of all. And I know you do iron as an IV. I know you do methylene blue. You also have what's called EBU. Can you kind of talk to those three things and kind of the reasoning behind? I know you're seeing a lot of iron needs lately with people being low on iron. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, I would tell you astonishingly, probably 95, 98% of the people who come into my office are low on iron. They're not in the functional range. They might be barely hanging on this huge range of 15 to 55. And in the medical world, if they were 15, they'd be like, oh, it's fine, it's in range. But the thing is, and that's if they even check them, which is rare. I don't have any patients who are really commonly checked for iron. Sometimes they'll check ferritin, but that's a misnomer anyways, because ferritin's the iron protein and it can indicate inflammation. So you could literally make your doctor think that you have great iron because your ferritin is up, and you could actually be in an alert status and blood transfusion level because the iron is so low. So this low iron has become a problem. I can't tell you exactly where it's coming from, what's causing it, but I can tell you that in the last 4 to 5 years, it has been out of control. Nearly every person walking in the door. I don't know if it's the spraying, when they sprayed and flooded Texas, somebody got nosy and found the company that was called Rainmakers. Well, once they found out the company that was spraying in Texas, I looked it up. Well, there's aluminum oxide, silver oxide. There's different metals that they spray. Well, those things fall down. We breathe them in, eat them in, whatever. I looked up those ingredients, and guess what? They destroy the gut. So they're causing inflammatory gut issues. When the gut is inflamed, you start losing your iron. When you have parasites, you start losing your iron. Those parasites, those little boogers, they're going to eat everything. They're going to eat it all. And people don't realize, because they don't really talk about this a lot in the United States. It's like, no, we all have parasites. They're eating us. And so the iron is a major problem. Also, I don't know the impact, because I've really noticed this the last 4 or 5 years. So I look around and I go, what has changed? I've been in practice for 20 years. What has changed? The things that we know that have changed is COVID was a big one. 5G was a big one. If you look up the radiation difference between 4G and 5G radiation, it's at least 20 times. Well, everybody knows radiation damages your cells. So it doesn't matter if it's a red blood cell, a white blood cell, it doesn't matter. They're damaging our cells. And so it's very important. And the risk of getting low iron is that then your body becomes low oxygen. And when you're low oxygen, there's certain things that live in oxygen deprived environment. Those would be viruses, bacteria, candida, yeast, mold, parasites. Well, those things are associated with cancers. And here you have them talking about these super cancers that have just come out. It's like, well, you think everybody's walking around oxygen deprived, high carbohydrate environment. It's inviting these in. So part of restoring function is restoring the environment so that way intruders do not want to live there with you. Because when they live there with you, they're making a problem. And so it's very, very important to have those iron levels checked. I encourage everybody, they need to know what their iron saturation levels are and find somebody who has iron IVs.
Yeah, I think iron IVs are very important. I've even had my children get iron IVs because their iron was low. And then methylene blue is the next one. So what are the purposes and why do people do methylene blue?
Methylene blue is really great for killing off things like candida, yeast, parasites, bacteria. It also, so some people use it for that purpose. It also helps the mitochondria of the cell. And the mitochondria of the cell is the powerhouse of the cell. And so we don't want to lose cell health because that's when we start dying and we start being weakened and succumbing to parasites, viruses, bacteria moving in and creating cancers, autoimmune, etc. Call it what you want. It doesn't matter. It's the body being eaten by stuff, being destroyed. And so the methylene blue is really great for cognitive function. It's really great for neurodegenerative problems, whether that's autism, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, anti-aging. It's like we don't want the mitochondria of our cells to die.
Yes, yes. And then one of the things that I did, because I have an autoimmune affecting my liver, is EBU. And I don't know what that stands for, but I've never seen anyone else have it. I know it's out there, but it's more alternative medicine now. And it filters your blood out. And I don't even know what it stands for. Maybe you can explain it a little better than I can, but it filters your blood out. So if you have a liver issue where your liver's not filtering your blood very well, it actually cleans you out. It was amazing. I've done it several times and it's been amazing.
EBU stands for extracorpuscle blood oxygenation and ozonation. So
Okay.
just like we talked about the low iron causing low oxygen in our body, this is putting ozone in. So ozone is 3 molecules of oxygen. That is anti-inflammatory, kills viruses, bacteria, candida, yeast, mold, all the things that are a problem for our body. It takes the blood out of one arm, runs it through a dialysis filter, where in that dialysis filter through the other side is forced ozone. So super, super, super gets those red blood cells under pressure. You literally see waste product bubbling out into a container. Then it comes up and then it runs through UV light where it picks up UVA, B, and C. So frequencies of sunshine, as well as the whole LED spectrum. And then it goes back into your other arm. So EBOO is like ozone IV on steroids. So it's going in and out, circulating around for 50 minutes. It's super, super intensive. One of our very first patients, when I first got trained on it, he had just had a major surgery. His arm was a swollen sausage. I couldn't even find veins. I was like, gosh, what are we going to do? It was so bruised. It was so bad. Well, normally we would use one arm and one arm. We had to go to the other arm and try to find 2 veins that were parallel to each other so that way they weren't mixing because we needed to get it into the body. And so lo and behold, literally before our eyes, had we known that was going to happen, I would have taken video. The bruising started fading back. All the inflammation went down. He was able to bend his arm up to his chest versus before it was like this little sausage. He couldn't even wiggle his fingers barely. It was
Wow.
mind blowing. And so really just seeing some phenomenal things happen with EBOO on things that I didn't even expect. Like I always tell patients, I can't promise anything, but I will work my best to help you because I have such a passion that people deserve the best quality of life. I mean, we've had another patient, she came in here, she was having some vision issue. They were saying it was caused by her thyroid gland. They wanted to do crazy stuff, take her eyeballs out, widen the socket. I'm telling you, I was like, ooh, that made me squeamish. I was like, oh no, I'm super sensitive about the eyes. So I told her, well, let me just clean you up and let's see what happens with your body because it knows what to do. It's a self-healing organism. Let's see
Yep.
when we get all the trash out if it can heal itself. I kid you not, Diva Mia. After her first treatment, she now could see clear for 4 days. Mind you, she had blurred double vision. She couldn't walk. She couldn't drive. She couldn't anything. I said, wow, that's amazing. Just one treatment. I said, well, maybe the next treatment we'll get 7 days. You know, I told her, I don't know. We let's just try. After 5 weeks of EDTA chelation combined with EBOO, she drives, she sees, she has never had a problem. She wrote a review on our website. You can see it. Crazy. They were wanting to take this lady's eyeballs out of her head and do something crazy.
So EDTA chelation, I've done that with you as well. That's a heavy metal cleanse. Can you kind of describe what the purpose of that is?
Yeah, heavy metals get into us from the environment. Again, environmental toxins. So whether it's vaccinations, the cooking pans, the pipes we're drinking out of, what they're spraying on the sky, I don't even know. Who knows? There's so many things that we don't even realize have metals in them. I mean, underarm deodorant. I mean, we have constant exposure. Like you don't have to have chewed on lead paint windowsill when you were a kid to have a lot of metals in your body. And so what EDTA does is it's kind of a dual bang for your buck. So when you come in and get EDTA chelation, it's going to one, rotor and clean out your vascular system, like take out all the deposits. And then 2, take out the metals. And metals are so dangerous for us because they lead to neurodegenerative problems, autism, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. I mean, nobody wants to deal with that. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that these metals, parasites, viruses, bacteria, it's like their shield from your immune system. So your immune system's sitting here battling all these problems in your body. And it's like they need to get out. So you've got to remove the shield, go in and clean up stuff, and then go, okay, body, now do your thing because you should be okay, you know?
Yeah. So you're trying to make sure that the body's capable of healing, but you can't until you take the stressors of heavy metals and bacteria and candida and parasites away. So
Exactly.
I know a lot of functional medicine is also crossing the realm into longevity, and NAD has been pretty popular lately as far as IV therapy goes. NAD is supposed to help with longevity and mitochondria. Do you do a lot of NAD?
I'll tell you because we're not a drip bar, one of those places you can just walk into and get an IV.
Mm-hmm.
we do extensive stuff. So NAD started in our office originally for detoxifying patients. So it's how we're able to get patients safely off from pharmaceuticals like gabapentin, even street drugs. So whether they became addicted to street drugs, painkillers, gabapentin, antipsychotics, antidepressants, that's what we originally for years have used NAD for, is to safely detox these things out of people's bodies so they're not suffering the withdrawals. I mean, right down to alcohol. I had a patient, I never seen somebody drink so much alcohol in my life. He literally would wake up in the morning and be having the 40s. He had to. If he did not, he'd be convulsing and shaking all over. It was the saddest thing ever. 1 day of NAD, and he was able to go the whole day without liquor. And we just had to work on it and clean him up. So that's what we originally used it as a detoxifier. But we've always known that it also, like methylene blue, helps the mitochondria. So now people are really jumping on that for the anti-aging. So whether it's methylene blue or it's the NAD, like people don't want to age. I probably think about
I
it
don't want to
daily. I
age.
mean, I'm 49 and I see people with some wrinkles and I'm like, oh, I gotta do something. Like, I don't want wrinkles like that. Like,
Yeah.
no. You start getting older, you start going, oh my gosh. So, I think we could all use some youthfulness, and it's just part of being aware of your body when you start going down that route of wanting to restore function and take care of your body. It's like, well, I don't want to age. I want my body to last as long as it possibly can. I've heard that our body is supposed to last like really, really long time. But we poison ourselves so much and we don't know how to take care of ourselves and we get parasites and I don't know.
Well,
The food's not that clean.
there's more and more centenarians, people over 100 now. So
I love
if
it.
we can take care of our body and keep it functioning, we should be able to have a good quality of life. And one of those things that people kind of are afraid of, at least women I know, are hormone therapy or HRT. And some women are like, you're taking testosterone, you're a woman. So can you tell me, as far as hormone therapy, I know that you focus on that as well, and you help people with hormone because it does affect fatigue and other issues in other parts of the body as well. So what's your focus on that?
So as we age, obviously our body needs hormones to reproduce, but we also need hormones to feel well. Otherwise, we're going to feel old. Nobody wants to feel old and tired and fatigued and just feel bad. So we check those hormone levels. We only use bioidentical hormone pellets, nothing synthetic. We don't want to put synthetic chemicals. There's a time and place for pharmaceuticals, but we try to avoid it. So we're going to check things like testosterone. Testosterone for a female particularly can cause decreased sex drive, running and hiding from your husband, crankiness, irritability. If you have a bunch of kids like I do, I have 4 of them, they'll extra annoy me if my testosterone's a little low. But when it's normal, I'm like, oh, okay, you're being a pain, but I'm not that easily annoyed by you. And it also helps our lean muscle mass. So as we get older, we start losing muscle. You don't want to lose muscle, bone, that sort of thing. So that's how it helps a female. How it helps a man. I know a lot of women are like, oh, no, don't give my husband testosterone. He's going to chase me more. I'm like, girl, he's going to chase you if he's at 100. It doesn't matter. His leg could be half cut off. He's going to chase you around the house. So the thing is, but we want them to feel better because when they feel better, everything's better. And so when we take their numbers up to 800, 900, 1,200 in some cases, what happens for them is it doesn't crank up their sex drive. They're not going to chase you around the house any more than they already do when they're sitting at 100. But what it does is it helps their lean muscle mass. It helps their body weight. They don't get that mid-afternoon fatigue where they just want to lay on the couch and do nothing. And they're like, oh, and they're having to fight through it. Like it's not, they're not being lazy. They're literally just testosterone hormone depleted. It makes them want to just come home and do nothing. And so then on females, we're also going to check estrogen. So for females, we need a little testosterone. We don't need 900, but we need a little bit. And we also need estrogen. Now, estrogen helps females with vaginal dryness, hot flashes, our bone density. A big thing that I think about is like those fine line wrinkles, not these ones, the fine line ones. No, not those deep ones. That's because you and I are expressive and we make lots of facial expressions, but it's those fine ones that are just tiny. And you're like, oh no, that's coming from estrogen. Also, when our hands start thinning, coming from estrogen. So estrogen really helps protect our body from aging, looking old. I don't want to look old or feel old. It's not a vanity thing. It's just you have to think about part of your health is your mental health. So when you look in the mirror, you want to look good. You want to feel good. And so that's where estrogen comes in to, help us ladies. Now, men, we don't give them estrogen. We want to make sure their estrogen levels stay low because, that'll make them cranky. They don't want to deal with that hormone that we have to deal with. It's hard enough for us to deal with it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then you've also got progesterone, thyroid hormone, cortisol. All those things need regulation as well.
They do. So progesterone is kind of yes or no. If we give it to females, it helps relax smooth muscle. It helps you sleep better. Thyroid is a huge missed thing because again, there's this medical ranges and they'll be like, you're fine. And usually they actually check your TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That doesn't tell me anything. I need to know T3, T4. I need to know more stuff. And I need you to be here. If you're not here, then we need to get you there because the thyroid regulates so much. I mean, your body temperature will be off, your blood pressure will be off. Your ages, everybody's like, oh, your blood pressure is 105. That's great. You got the blood pressure of a marathon runner. I'm like, yeah, but I don't run anywhere. Maybe if someone's chasing me. And so it was like, no. And my body temperature was always 97. I was always freezing, like, oh, it's so cold in here. All along, it was my thyroid. So the thyroid regulates so much. It affects fertility, affects so much. And so many times people are told, it's just fine. It's just fine. So we use something called Lugol's iodine to detoxify. Do you want me to tell you a little bit more details about this thyroid?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So you remember the periodic table elements, a little chart? The far right column are the metal halides, where those are the negative ones. Those are the fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodine. So you can imagine the words I just said. You've heard of those things. They're in our environment. Fluoride's in our toothpaste. It's in our drinking water. Chloride in our swimming pools. Go soak in it. Go. Whatever. Bromide's in our baked goods. So what happens is these negative one metal halides, they come into the body and they attach onto the thyroid because the thyroid's looking for that negative one charge. And then the body is like, oh, okay, I must be good. So we don't have this big goiter anymore like a long time ago. And so I must be good. Well, you're not good because your thyroid's not functioning, doesn't have what it needs. So when you take Lugol's iodine is a stronger charge and it kicks those things out. It also detoxifies mercury. It also is radioprotective. So you know how earlier I mentioned the 5G, that it's damaging to our cells. Anytime that you hear someone's had a major big radiation exposure, like a leak, they give them iodine. And it's like, well, we're all having a major radiation exposure right now. We just can't see it because and that's why people were also very, very sick when it first came out. Like, oh no, migraines, everything. Well, I mean, our body is having to adjust to it, but nonetheless, it's still dangerous for us. So lots of good reasons why you got to take care of that thyroid and how I look at things a bit differently.
Well, how long does it, like if somebody goes on hormones, how long typically before they start feeling less fatigue or starting to feel better? Do you see most people react to hormone therapy?
Well, at 1 month, you're going to reach peak. So at 1 month, you should be feeling pretty good. But hormones are just one part of the cause of fatigue. You have to address that inflammatory gut issues, your stress levels, your parasites, your other things. Because if parasites are over here eating all your nutrition and still and everything, like, well, you still gonna feel fatigued. So it's a lot, which is why it's so important for functional medicine versus symptom and disease management. Because if you went to one provider and they said, hey, Diva Mia, you need some hormones. That's why you're low energy. And you're like, okay, great. And then it's like, yeah, but you were inflamed, you were stressed out, you got parasites eating all your nutrition. Like, you just got one small spot of it. So when you're talking about functional medicine, it's about restoring function of the whole body. Like, we got to look at all of it, and you're going to have to follow those recommendations because it's a lot. Because I got a lot of organs I'm working with. And
I know you work with lifestyle. Do you advise people on what foods to eat as well as like how much exercise to get?
Yeah, definitely. So we typically go off from that food sensitivity test that we do, which is just simple blood test. We have the results back in 2 weeks. And then my recommendation would be for you to avoid those food sensitivities and really cut down the amount of carbohydrates. Our food is very carbohydrate heavy. Well, not only does a low oxygen environment invite those bad things in, guess what? Carbohydrates feed viruses, bacteria, candida, yeast, mold, parasites, all of them. So we want to make the environment so that these nasty guys, these little monsters are not in your body. They don't want to stay there with you. So it's typically cutting your carbs, reducing it. Some people going more carnivore, some people are going more keto, and then avoiding food sensitivities. And I'll tell you, people's labs clean up quickly. 3 months, 6 months, a whole new body, just by changing that dietary intake.
And I know inflammation, it's causing a lot of chronic disease. And food sensitivities are part of it, but there's other things you have to do too. And I know IV therapy is a big part of your practice. What are your core components, I guess, to help people decrease their inflammation?
EBU is huge for removing inflammation. So is another great anti-inflammatory. We do it via IV. Oh, well, that'll pull someone's inflammation down like crazy. But it's really those lifestyle changes. I'll tell you, that's the bigger component. Like if you walk in the door, I do an IV for you, and then you leave and went and inflamed yourself, you're not going to gain. IVs are an add-on to the changes that you're making. Like so much depends upon patients. You know, when patients come back in and they see their blood work and they're so greatly improved, I always tell them, like, that's because you did this. Because they were like, thank you so much for guiding me. I'm like, I didn't do the work. I just guided you. I know what you need to do. You did it. And not all of my patients will do it. I mean, some people will sit there and argue with me about yogurt. And I'm like, I mean, I can't make you not eat it, but I'm highly advising against, for example, if they're sensitive to it. So it's like, well, I mean, you're grown, you can do what you want. So it really is on the patient. Like it takes a lot of work. You have to want it.
Do you do anything with peptides? I know that's all the rage lately. Have you done anything with peptides? Because I know a lot of people are for like joints and things like that.
The GLP-1s people are using for weight loss, the BP1 pain or restoration.
For like joint health and inflammation. And there's a lot of peptides that are now people are starting to use for hair growth and things like that. Do you work with any of those at all?
Amazingly, I'm actually trained in the peptides, but it's not a huge part of the practice because everything else that we do is already so specialized that patients come from out of state to see me. And so, I mean, you've been in the office when there's out of state patients that are there. So it's like, they're coming for that very specific reason that I try not to just do everything. I already do so much. So we have a few patients who want a peptide for a certain thing. We'll order it for you. You can get it from the compounding pharmacy. It's not a big deal. And I'm trained in them. It's just not something that I go after because what I have is so specialized in my knowledge on viruses, parasites. People are coming into me for big stuff and sometimes things that they've suffered for years from and never had answers. So it's like, I try not to throw too much at them. I'm already throwing a lot at them.
Yeah.
Change your diet, take 100 pills, whatever it is.
Change your diet, go for red light therapy, go to the sauna. It's like, yeah, all the things we have to do as we get older. We're like, what?
Yeah,
well, we should have been doing it all along. That's the thing. So a lot of people, once they detox, they also find they lose weight without doing any peptides as well. Because like a lot of people are on the GLPs and, that can lead to gallbladder issues. I know for that one for sure. And other issues. So, but a lot of times once people detox, the weight just falls off.
It does. One of my patients was from New York and he owned a pizza pasta restaurant, Italian guy, and he was quite large. His wife came here, she dragged him in to make him get a food sensitivity test. And he took a look at it and he said, I can't do this. I have to try the food. I have to whatever. And I said, I'm just giving you the information. You now know what you need to do. You do what you can do. I can't make you. You're grown. Well, she had flown back in and brought him. 1 year later, she had brought him. She had come a few other times, but this time this guy lost over 200 pounds. And I was like, what did you do? He said, nothing. I just accepted that I could not eat those foods anymore and that somebody else would have to try them. I could not. Kid you not. And I mean, it's like you get rid of the inflammation and the body stops holding the toxins and starts functioning properly. Whenever we have improper diet, constant inflammation, we end up with major dysregulation It was a mind-blowing change because I would not have believed he was going to change his diet. He straight up told me, "This is my business, my livelihood. I have to taste the food. I have to taste the sauces. I have to." And I said, "I understand. I understand. You got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of kids. I get it. I got 4 kids. I got to take care of them. I got to do what I got to do." Nope. I guess he dug deep and decided to make those changes.
Wow.
Crazy.
I know adrenal fatigue, a lot of people suffer from too much stress. And a lot of people are trying to evolve into decreasing their stress through yoga. But what can you do to help people besides just diet fix their adrenals?
Well, that's a good one because we have constant stress. It's like every day there's something, whether it's your kids or a bill or a water pipe leak or something on your car, it's constant. So things like Epsom salt, baking soda, bentonite clay, baths at the end of the evening before you go to bed to help detoxify the body. You can also listen to healing sounds. You can find them on YouTube. You just do a search for like healing frequencies and it'll come up like 428, 526, something like that. I think 482 and 526 hertz, HZ. And so you can put those on, and what they are is they're binaural music. You have to have it on headphones, and what it'll do is it pans between the sides of the brain, so it helps balance and calm the brain down. So they're just healing sleep frequencies. You can search it. Just you have to Bluetooth it to your headphones or whatnot, and you have to be able to sleep with headphones. I found a little like headband, and it has little teeny flat speakers because I'm a side sleeper.
Yeah.
And that just helps calm the body because it balances it because we have so much stress and frequencies in the environment put into our body. It helps balance and calm it. It's a really, really good tool and it's something that's free. But if you find them on YouTube, just don't pick the ones that say live because if it says live, it will come on with commercials and it'll wake you up and that's not fun. So you just find the healing sleep frequency that is like 10 hours or something. Turn that on, go to sleep. It
Okay.
helps a lot. Those are super, super great stress relievers. Also, B12 is very important for the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands eat it like candy because they're our stress response.
Okay. Good to know. I know a lot of people also have been suffering from long COVID. And people are traveling all over the country to try to find solutions. Do you support people that have long COVID, and are you treating anyone right now?
We do have a lot of patients who come in with long COVID. In fact, it even attacked me really, really bad. I don't remember if I ever told you the story of what happened with me. I think I probably did. That was like a few patients. No, I think you're probably one of them. And so look, long COVID got a hold of me really bad. And so again, it goes back to restoring gut function, getting rid of parasites, getting rid of the inflammation, helping boost your immune system. And then Dr. Brian Ardis, he has a bunch of research even on how nicotine helps. And we don't recommend it. We just tell patients, hey, research this because we're empowering you to make an informed decision. If you feel like it's best for you, go for it. And so we have patients who started back in February when we started testing people for long COVID and spike protein. And there's people who are now negative spike protein and no more long COVID. So it's been working very, very, very well. I encourage people to check out that research on it. It's interesting how sometimes they tell us something's poison and awful for us and it could be the cure for something. So it's like, I don't know. It feels weird to tell someone, go get a nicotine patch. But I'm like, just look at Brian Ardis's nicotine and COVID podcast. He has like a whole research on it. It's really interesting. And then you start diving down other holes. I'm always diving down holes because I always want to find solutions to help my patients.
Yeah. I know that there's a huge connection as well. We have to be consistent and we have to have a strong mindset. But do you find that some of these treatments are helping people's mental health? Because mental health is becoming a huge problem in the country. It's been a problem for a while, but it seems like it's getting worse.
Absolutely. I have patients who come in on antidepressants, antipsychotics. I had one patient with schizophrenia in here really bad. He was always talking to people. We did a bunch of colloidal silver, so silver hydrosol IVs, and killed off the parasites that were the viruses that were in his body. And so for him, it was a high viral load and good as can be now. No problems. It took us probably about 3 to 4 months. It took us a while of aggressive IVs, and we used colloidal silver and ozone in that case. So Now that's the extreme case, but regular just anxiety, depression, it really goes back to the same thing. Get rid of the things that are causing us problems. Parasites, they're very active at nighttime. They will keep you up all night. They will make your body stress out. They're eating on you, they're eating your nutrition. They're a big problem. And so you get this inflammation, then your brain can't think, then it stresses you out. I mean, people are ending up with anxiety who've never had it before. They're like, I've never had anxiety. Where did this come from? It's like, well, the body is being attacked. If you have a bear chasing you every day, eventually you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to step out of my tent. There's going to be a bear there. And the body just starts, it has too much. So that's where it comes back to depression, anxiety, everything. Like just clean up the body. Majority of my patients get off their pharmaceuticals, which is the very reason why we also use the NAD to detox those things out of their body safely. When people are on all these antipsychotics, antidepressants, anti this, that, sleep, this, that, it's a lot of toxin. They can't usually safely get off those drugs. They end up developing things like akastasia, where their body's just moving all over the place. That's where I get a lot of people flying from out of town to come and see me. We have to detox their body and we use the NAD. So it's really, really, really powerful when you just restore function to the body, how all of these symptoms just go away. You don't have them anymore. Those symptoms are a result of malfunction. It's not because there's something wrong with the body other than it's malfunctioning.
Do you recommend any daily stuff that people can do if they haven't seen you yet, just to support decrease their immune and detox? Is there anything people can do from home, like just to get started before maybe they can get an appointment with you?
It's really hard for me to tell you because you know how the blood work comes back in sections? And it's like, okay, thyroid, hormones, this, that. It's like each organ needs its own thing. So it's very hard for me to tell you, like, oh, just go take this because I don't know what's going on. And also the products that are available, I'll tell you, just because you find it at the nutrition store doesn't mean that that's what's in the bottle. They can put whatever's on the label. So we only use physician grade products because they are quality controlled through a facility. So they've created their own regulating board. And so that way, you know, what it says is in the pill is what is in the pill. So it's very hard for me to say like, oh yeah, they should be taking this. I mean, it's like, I can say that when we talked about iron earlier, I definitely want to point out never ever take oral iron. Oral iron is elemental iron. You cause inflammatory gut issues, which is why we do iron via IV and bypass the gut. You're just going to create more problems. So no oral iron. You'll end up in a vicious cycle. You're never going to get out of it. So it's very hard. You know, even with a multivitamin, it's like, oh, you know, every doctor tells you, oh, take a multivitamin. I don't even have a multivitamin at the office because I'm balancing out everything else. And it's such higher doses. Like I look at a multivitamin and I'm like, oh, well, that has like 2 units of vitamin D. I'm telling you to take 10,000 units. So it's like, it's really hard to tell. I can tell you that something that people could start with though, is making sure that they have half their body weight in ounces of water. So while it's not a vitamin, you must get water, half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And really, we need to up our electrolyte salt. So we typically have patients, we used to use LMNT salt packs, not a plug for them or anything. I'm just talking to you, let you know what we use. They have some ingredients we didn't really like, as we learned, you know, once someone develops something, someone's always going to make something better. So we use athlites. They only have 2 flavors because it comes from actual freeze-dried fruit. They use monk fruit versus stevia. And what that does is it just makes you have like salty water. If you don't have those kind of packets, you could get like a gray sea salt, like a Celtic sea salt. Put a pinch in everything on water. You know, we all need salt. They have us so afraid to eat salt, you know, like it's so bad for us, but it's like, no, all mammals need salt. You think about if you have cows, you have salt licks for them. If you put a deer feeder out, you have a salt lick. If you have a gerbil, you have a salt lick. We need salt. And so people, if they can just start with getting proper hydration, proper minerals, that can go a long ways.
Yeah. So let's say somebody comes to you and they have inflammation, they have parasites, they have heavy metals. They have pretty much the whole gambit, like a lot of us do. Autoimmune issues, possibly even cancer. We don't even know.
Majority of my patients.
Where would you start with them? I know you're going to start with blood work, and I know you're going to start with food sensitivity. But what do you try to fix first? Do you try to fix the inflammation? Do you try to fix the parasites? Or are you doing a multi-approach to fix it all at once?
Well, it's a team effort. So food sensitivities, there's nothing I can do to fix that. You got to stop eating it. So So there's a part that you're going to do. I'm going to give you best recommendations on the vitamins you should take, the nutrition you should take based on your blood work, and I'll know how long you need to take it or how much you need to take. And then you're going to avoid the food sensitivities. And then on my end, you'll come in and do IVs. We'll get IVs going and start working on stuff. So it's really a dual effort. It's not just one-sided. As I said earlier, there's not just like a magic pill. It's like, well, you got to put your part in and it's work.
Right. Do you do anything to boost immunity? Because we've talked a lot about detoxing and decreasing inflammation, but what are your focuses as far as boosting someone's immunity?
Absolutely. So getting rid of inflammation alone will boost your immune system. When you consume one bite of something you're not supposed to eat because it's a food sensitivity, it will inflame you and in turn will lower your immune system. And the more we can get the heavy metals out, the parasites out, et cetera, the less your body is having to constantly focus on those things. We also do some things like water fasting for some of our patients. It's like, yeah, water fasting, that's going to boost your immune system, reset it. Dormant stem cells are going to wake up. Also great for anti-aging. And so because those dormant cells wake up and repair some wrinkles or something, we really go into a lot of stuff to patients. But again, it comes down to what is the patient willing to do? Now, any patient can water fast for 10 days, but are they willing to? I mean, yeah, exactly. You're willing to, and you do it for way longer than 10 days. I'm actually on day 3 right now. I do it every other month, and I have so since December 2019 because it keeps a cancer marker in check for me. So instead of trying to poison the cancer that wherever it is, I don't know because I just have the marker, a positive marker. It's like, I'm not going to go look for it. I'm just going to keep it under control. For 5 years almost. December will be 5 years. I've been able to keep it under control with water fasting, nutrition, strict diet. You have to be willing to make those changes. You have to realize that there's no food that is worth your quality of life. So whether it's water fasting and it's no food, just some air pudding, or it's a strict diet, like life is amazing. Quality of health is amazing. And it's like there's no food that is worth it. And when you really accept that and realize it, you're willing to water fast. You're willing to stop eating those foods because life is so much more enjoyable than a moment on your lips.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, they're like, I deserve to have this food, or they use food as like a reward. I think it's taught in childhood. And then when they have, sensitivities to it, they don't realize how destructive it is towards their bodies.
Absolutely. I mean, you probably grew up with your grandparents telling you, if you finish your food, you're going to have dessert. I say the grandparents because it's always the grandparents feeding us bad food. My mom would not dare use food as a reward. If I finished my food, I just had to finish my food or she's going to beat me. So it's like, but we get to go to the grandparents like, oh, finish your food. You get to have dessert.
Yeah.
If you made a good grade, you get to go eat pizza. Even Pizza Hut, when I was a kid, had the book it program or whatever. If you read your books, you got pizza. Like, it's always been like a reward for let's celebrate. We celebrate instead of going on vacation and celebrating. People are celebrating by let's go have dinner. Let's go have this. And it's like, learn to celebrate life. Go on vacation with your family or something to celebrate. And then while you're there, have the foods that are good for you.
Yeah, I know a lot of, and it's not just, family. Sometimes the girls, where do they want to go? They want to go out for dinner. And it's like, why don't we go for a hike instead? Or why don't we go for a bike ride or go to the spa? I mean, there's so many things you can do, but it's become so customized that you want to get together with somebody, you go for dinner.
It's true.
There's so many other things you can do or go for lunch. We did talk a little bit about B12 and vitamin D. And I know vitamin D, a lot of people are short on, as well as iron, as well as iodine. And magnesium is another one. So are there like certain things that you see over and over again that people tend to be short on besides those things?
Omegas as well. Omegas is a big problem for deficiencies.
Really? So omega-3s?
Yep. Your omega.
Okay. All omegas, or is there one specific that most people are deficient in?
Omega-3, omega-6. I mean, people are just deficient. Magnesium, potassium, salt. It's not the kind of salt that comes from packaged foods. That's iodized salt. It's actually just poison for us. It's like mineral salt. Like, we're very deficient on these things. So it takes a lot of work. You understand, most of my patients that come into my office are 30, 40, 50, 60. They got all those years of being deficient and poisoned from chemicals in the environment and parasites and toxins and metals. And it's like, Most patients come in a hot mess. I love hot messes. When you come in and you literally just want health guidance, which I have those patients too because they're referred from family members, and they're like, okay, I don't want to become a hot mess, so let me come in now and learn what to do. And I'm literally asking them questions. I'm like, no, nothing. Nothing here. Because I spend about 45 minutes asking you a lot of questions. And it's like, oh gosh, it's like those are great patients because it's like, now you know what to do, go do it. But majority are, they've become desperate because they've gone doctor to doctor to doctor. Nobody's checking these things. And then if they do check them, they're in the medical range. It's like, no, I need you to be here. If you're not in the functional range, it's just not good. Not good.
Yeah. So I know that you're now branching out into national coaching or national, helping people nationally with different online and running their blood work and helping them that don't live near you or can't come and visit you right away. So can you talk a little bit about that new growth that you're doing with your company now?
Yes, sure. Because patients come into my office and every single patient, they have family members. And once I've helped them, they want me to help grandma who lives 5 states over. They want me to help all these people, their sister, their whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm one person. I hear it all the time. You need an office in San Antonio, you need an office in Houston. It's like, I'm one person. What do you want me to do? And so I finally decided that, okay, I'm just going to need to do it. So Fridays, I don't see patients in the office. That is going to become my virtual health coaching. So I don't have to go get a license in every single state. It's just going to be health coaching. I'll give you the guidance. You're not getting IVs. You're not getting anything, but you're going to know what to do and have a full interpretation and guidance because I'm coaching you on your health, which is really what I do in the brick office as well, except for that you're right here and you can also get IVs and whatnot. Now, that doesn't mean you may not decide you want to just fly in and just have me take care of you. Patients do that. They stay at Airbnbs or relatives or whatever. But this is designed so that way you can get the core in. What food should I eat? What nutrition should I take? We're going to be doing food sensitivity tests and their labs. And it's so easy because LabCorp is nationwide. I just put in an order. I talk with you. Or you talk with one of my nurses, and then it's like I put together the plan and I say, okay, Diva Mia, reviewed your labs. This is here. It needs to be here. This is what I need you to do. And these are the foods. Please don't eat them. I can't make you not eat them, but you're going to inflame yourself. Now you're knowingly poisoning yourself. Before you just thought you were healthy eating. Here all the time. I don't eat out. I eat healthy. Why do I still not feel right? It's like, well, you were unknowingly eating chicken or something or eggs. Like you were unknowingly poisoning yourself. It's not because you were trying to. I believe that you were trying to be healthy. I hear it all the time. So this is a great way while they can't get the full experience by not being in the office, they can get food sensitivity tests. They can get full labs. If it's something like hormone pellets or something like that, it's like, well, then they can find an office that's close to them if Texas is just not close enough for them. So yeah, that office is called the Vital Reset.
That's wonderful. We'll post that too in the comments later as well. One of the things too is most people that come to functional medicine, they're a little shocked because insurance doesn't tend to cover everything, or it covers some things, but it might cover like your hormones. It might cover some supplements. It might cover, people they're confused because I think it's starting to change, but currently a lot of functional medicine is not covered.
No. It's not health insurance. I really don't think it should be called health insurance. It really should just be called sick insurance. Call it what it is. It's only based on if you're sick. It's not based on if you're healthy. You want to have a heart attack? They'll pay for it. You want to have organs thrown in the trash? They'll pay for it. You want to take drugs for the rest of your life? They'll pay for it. You want to get healthy? No. So the one thing that they do typically pay for is at least the LabCorp lab. At the very least, they'll cover those, and that's a great help to patients. And so the reason being is because we're restoring function and we're not giving you pharmaceuticals. I mean, like the pharmaceutical drug reps, they don't even visit my office. Even though I have a DEA license, you would think like I'd be on the list and they'd be coming here trying to get me to write their prescriptions. Nope. Because we don't take insurance, because we can't. They don't want to pay it. So they don't pay us to sit there for 45 minutes to an hour and spend time with you and get to know you as a patient. You know how much I know you as a patient. It's a very different experience. All patients have my personal cell phone number. It's a very different experience when you come to this office, but I'm not being told how to treat you or what I can do with you because the insurance is not involved. But HSAs or health savings accounts, or I don't know, whatever all those abbreviations are that some people have from their jobs, that's accepted. So we swipe those cards. It pays their nutrition, pays whatever. Sometimes they want to know, like, why is it recommended? It's like, well, these are their labs. Shows that they need it. So
Okay.
we haven't had a problem with people having that covered. And then also offices like functional medicine offices, a lot of them will take options like care credit. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but care credit in our office gives you 6 months. You can get whatever you need and it's 0% interest. Just get it paid off in those 6 months and it was same as cash. So there are options to be able to afford it.
Okay. So that helps people out that can't afford it, that really need to get healed. And we're talking about healing, not just putting a Band-Aid on a disease. So it's really about truly healing yourself from the inside out. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, I don't want to put your cell phone number on here, but I'm gonna post your website. Is there a good way? What's the best way to contact you once they go to your website? Is there a form or?
Yeah, they can request an appointment or they can call the office. It's just the New You Med Clinic is the website, or docjessica.com is also an easy way to remember it. And the office number is just 817-281-9040. It's on the website, but you can also contact us and then we call you and can talk to you about what's going on and set you up an appointment.
And you do chiropractic as well, correct?
Yeah, I am a chiropractor. Yeah. Few people come to me for chiropractic unless they're already my existing patients and they're like, oh, I need an adjustment. I've been a chiropractor for 20 years. I mostly focus on the functional medicine because there's not a lot of providers who do what I do. So it's like, if you're a patient of mine, you can get an adjustment, but typically not just new patients walking in for chiropractic because I have so much focus and time put into the functional side, which is very much needed. I think people really are tired of taking drugs. They're tired of just here's your prescription. Here's your prescription. Same thing day in, day out. It's like they want a solution. And the solution is really you just got to restore function.
Well, functional medicine is very naturopathic too. I mean, there's a lot of natural things. And people that tend to do functional medicine, like I also do acupuncture and I do massage and I do IVs and red light and sauna. I mean, I kind of cover the whole gambit of everything. So I think that people that do functional, they're looking for quality of life, not just quantity. And that's the difference is functional medicine gives us a better quality of life.
It does. And I tell people, there's somebody made a quote someplace, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. Either way, you're going to pay. You just have to decide, do you want to pay for health or do you want to pay for that extreme sick that you're now dealing with? Because either way, you're going to be paying.
Yeah, exactly.
Paying with your life. Having a poor quality of life, you're paying. It may not be money, but you're paying. You're paying the price.
Is there anything that we forgot to discuss today that you want to bring up?
If you're in Texas, I'm at the New You Medical and Infusion Clinic. If you're nationwide, I'm at the Vital Reset. And it's just thevitalreset.com. So either way, I've got you and can give you guidance. My passion is for people to have that quality of life. I think they deserve it.
Well, thank you, Diva Jessica. It's been a pleasure having you on. I feel honored to have you. And I hope that this reaches the right people and the people that need your help can find you because I know there's a huge need for this right now in this country. So that's all I got. This is Diva Mia. I'm going to sign off. You want to sign off, Diva Jessica?
Sounds great. Signing off.
You guys, everybody have a wonderful week and take care of yourself. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.